What that means is teens are coming either from hospitalization, a residential program, or they're coming from an outpatient therapist, which they see once a week, and they need a higher level of care. My name is Celina Serna. I am a program director and a licensed clinical social worker here at Clear Behavioral Health in Van Nuys. I have been working in an IOP level of care for about 4.5 years now. So most of my experience, most of my work in a clinical setting is with teens, with families. I do have experience working with adults as well in hospice care, medical social work, but the bulk of my experience is going to be with teens in an IOP level of care. So at Clear Behavioral Health, we're an intensive outpatient program, also known as an IOP. And what that means is teens are coming either from hospitalization, a residential program, or they're coming from an outpatient therapist, which they see once a week, and they need a higher level of care. What that means is that they're getting more therapy than just that once a week. And also they're not inpatient in a residential or in a hospital. So they still get to go home at night at the end of the day, but they are getting some more intense therapy. And what that looks like is our teens come in the beginning for 2 weeks, which is 5 days a week for 2 weeks, 3 hours a day from 4 to 7 p.m. When teens are coming to our program, they are initially coming for 5 days a week for the first 2 weeks, and after the first 2 weeks, they are being dropped down to a 3-day schedule, which is Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And when they are here, they are coming from 4 to 7 p.m. While they are in our program, they are usually doing group therapy. They're going to see a therapist once a week, and they're going to see a case manager once a week. So our group therapy varies on a day-to-day basis. And what that means is it varies by topic. But typically what we're seeing in our program is we're always doing a process group once a day. And that group is to help support the client in identifying challenges, stressors, and they're processing it amongst the milieu. And they're really getting that community and that support. The second group that we like to do is a coping skill or a life skills group, which also it varies just depending on what the milieu's needs are. Typically what we're seeing is clients needing help with distress tolerance skills. They're really having to need skills to manage the stressors and the challenges that they're going through in their day-to-day life. We're really seeing clients needing some emotional regulation skills. Teens don't really know how to identify their emotions, let alone how to sit with them without resorting again to those unhelpful behaviors. We're really trying to teach our teens how to have healthy social skills. How do I communicate effectively to get my needs met? How do I be vulnerable with people and really just be authentically me, which is very hard to do for most people, especially teens. Another thing that we really like to do is bring in outside facilitators, which we call our experiential groups. So for the teens, we really try to get creative and find ways for them to express themselves, again, in a creative way. So for Clear Behavioral Health, we usually bring in like an improv instructor or a music instructor. Again, it's just a creative way to express what they're feeling. Really like the improv groups because it really challenges the teen to come out of their shell, to take these risks of, risk, whether it's for them to feel embarrassment or anxiety or fear for being silly and goofy. So it really does help teens come out of their shell and to be a little bit more authentic while working through some of that fear, embarrassment, or shame. Another group, like I said earlier, is the music group that we really love. It's a really creative way for, again, teens to just be able to identify what they're feeling and to express that. At Clear, we have a unique way of approaching our teens' treatment. This may be a little bit different than what you're going to see at other treatment centers. When our teens come into our program, they are assigned a primary therapist and a case manager. That case manager role is very different and it's unique, and we found it very beneficial in the work that we do. So they have 2 people on their team alongside a program director and a clinical director who oversees the work that is being done. At at Clear, our teen IOP program is covered by most major insurances. We also have our services provided in many different areas of LA. We have a location in Van Nuys, we have a location in Santa Clarita, Pasadena, El Monte, El Segundo, Beverly Hills, and Manhattan Beach.